Good morning, everybody and everyone who's tuning in to my videos. I want to talk about making money in the year of 2026 and above. Nobody should complain about not being able to make a income in 2026. Nobody should complain about it because there's so many avenues to make money. I see on Facebook, on social media, all over, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, social media sites that talk about they cannot make money in this world or whatever. And I'm just trying to tell you, stop selling yourself short. In 2026, gig work has afforded me the opportunities to own two businesses. One being a chauffeur business for prime time transportation, and the other is a logistics transportation company where I haul mulch, topsoil, furniture, vanities, you name it. I pick it up and I take it to the other destination. Nobody should say they cannot make money in this world, because I've seen many people do DoorDash on a bike. No motor, nothing, just pedals and just pedaling the way to a customer's house to drop off a $4 order of McDonald's. Now, a lot of people will say, I'm not dropping off $4 McDonald's bags to anybody. I was that same person that would say, I'm not doing it. I'm not having my truck or my car smelling like McDonald's or Chinese food or $7-Eleven fast food hot dogs at all. I was that same person. But then I started getting messages from bank institutions saying that, oh, you owe this and that, you're 2 payments behind, you're 4 payments behind on your credit cards, let's get on the payment plan, let's pay this. So I stopped selling myself short and I start taking those $4 runs, those $7 runs, those $10 runs. Want to know why? Because it added up. Now, there's so many different gig opportunities out there for you to make a boatload of money. Like I said, I started 2 businesses. And before starting those businesses, I was able to get the experience that I needed to run those businesses. So with prime time transportation, I am a chauffeur. I have my Class E license. I have commercial driver insurance policies, minimum $1 million in legal coverage. I started doing that 2 years ago after getting off workers' compensation from my left knee. I was a sanitation worker. I used to be on the back of the trucks, hopping off, hopping on, picking up yard waste and garbage and throwing it into the back of the garbage truck. That's what I used to do for a living. My first contract with doing sanitation was, yearly salary of $69,742 per year. I got hurt at work where I was on the back of the truck, about an hour left into my shift, and here comes a drunk driver running through a red light while we was turning on the intersection. And if you have any experience with any trucks, a truck cannot stop on the dime. It can't just stop right away. The back wheels will drag. The momentum of all of that weight that the garbage truck is carrying is gonna take you along for the ride. So I happened to hit my knee on the back of the metal plating, and I crushed my knee in 4 places where I had to get 3 knee surgeries. And the 3rd knee surgery was a partial knee replacement for the medial unicompartmental side of my left knee. So I couldn't work a job anymore. I was permanently disabled in my left leg. Fast forward to 2023. I was able to get up, get off workers' comp. I received a 6-figure settlement for my left knee, which helped out a lot. And I started doing gig work. A friend of mine, she was like, hey, I make a lot of this money doing Uber and Lyft. You should definitely join. You should definitely do it. And I, at first, was hesitant. I was saying, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't feel comfortable having somebody drive behind me in my car, be behind me in my car. And then on top of that, I didn't feel like driving people around in my BMW. But then bills start mounting because I wasn't working. So I say, you know what, let me put my ego, away. And I started doing Uber and Lyft. And, the first weekend, I was making great money. I was making $200 a day doing Uber and Lyft. And I said, you know what? Instead of Uber and Lyft taking all the money for themselves and leaving me with like 30% of the fare, I say, you know what? Let me go out and do it the correct way. Let me go and get my chauffeur license. So now I could be for hire. So I can generate all the money instead of Uber and Lyft taking their cut. And then from there, I started getting clients off of Uber and Lyft. I started converting them from Uber and Lyft. Every time I pick a customer up, I would ask them nicely, hey, if you don't mind me asking you, how much did you pay for this ride? And then they will tell me, oh, I paid such and such. I paid $40 for this ride. And I said, is that a lot to you? And normally they'd be like, yes, I wish I could pay a little bit less than that because for the distance and my time, it's not really worth it. But I don't drive a car and I need to get to work on time, or I need to get to the airport on time. So then I will be like, okay, I have my own chauffeur business and I like to help customers save as much as possible. Would that interest you? And 9 out of 10 times they'd be like, yes. And, we would talk a little bit and then I'll give them a price point. Now, say how they was paying 40, I would say, would you do 30? I'll give them a $10 discount. They don't have to pay the taxes or fees normally associated with Uber and Lyft. And then they became my client. So now, every time they need a ride to work, I get paid $30. I get paid the full amount. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you could have charged them $40. Yes, I could have. And yes, I could have had the $40 in my pocket. But for me to maintain my clientele, I offer customers a discount on the price that they paid Uber and Lyft. So now they will feel like, oh, okay, at least I'm saving some money with this guy. Let's go with this guy. And then when they save money, what happens? They go to work with a smile on their face. And then when they need a ride back, they're not going to call Uber or Lyft. They're going to call me. And they will be happy to pay $30 going back. So that's how I ran it for a good couple of months until I got a solid amount of clients for my business. Fast forward a year later, I have over 30 plus clients for all different various rides, and they all pay me directly. My income from doing gig work, and that's just only 2. I didn't talk about Instacart, I didn't talk about Roadie, and I didn't talk about Curry or Amazon Flex or GoPuff. I ain't talk about any of those. I was only talking about just 2 things that made me generate a great income moving forward. Now, like I said earlier, my first contract with sanitation was $69,742. Well, being a chauffeur, my first year in, I generated a six-figure income by just taking people to and from work, to the airport, from the airport to doctor offices, and most of that was strictly cash. So when people say they cannot make money in 2026, or they sell themselves short without knowing the ways around certain things, I get upset. Because if I myself could make six figures doing gig work, anybody could do gig work. Anybody. The other day I ordered Uber Eats for lunch, and I didn't feel like going outside and getting lunch. A guy on a bike drove his bicycle to my house and dropped off some Panera to my house on a bike. And I smiled and I gave him a $10 tip. And he was like, yo, bro, like, you're the only person that really gave me a big tip like that. I've been, I lost my job. I couldn't get work. And he said that he started watching a video on YouTube that got him into doing Uber Eats. And he does it on a bike. So if he could do it on a bike, why is your ego so high? Why can't you just get up, get on a bicycle, and do Uber Eats and make some money? It's 2026. It's about to be 2027 in a few months from now. Everybody should not complain. Everybody should be up trying to get to the bag and make that income. It's so easy in 2026 to make money, especially doing gig work. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm actually on my way to pick up a client to take them to the airport. I just wanted to make this little video just to introduce everyone to why it's so important to make an income. And it's not impossible for anybody to make an income in 2026 while there's so many gig opportunity apps available to you. You just have to sign up and be willing to work. Have a great day. This is Chill 2K, Jay Sterling, and I'll talk to you guys later. See you guys in the next video. And before I leave, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I just want to help as many people as I can to make as much money as they can, and overcome all the doubtness that you have. Later.